Hey, what's going on, everybody? And welcome in to the Garage Beers Podcast, episode 220. After a lengthy delay on a technology issue, we are back. We are here, and we are ready to roll with a great episode tonight. We are going to be joined by an interview that Chad and I did just a little bit ago with our buddy Nathan Zegura, the color analyst for the Cleveland Browns and budding wrestling superstar. So you're going to want to check out the interview we did with Nathan. We talk Browns and we talk wrestling. We have an overall great time. And then a little later on in the interview, we're just going to check in on the sports world, what else is going on. And we're just going to have an overall good time. So we are presented to you proudly here on the OBR streaming network. Get over to the OBR.com, get over to the OBR streaming network on YouTube or Twitch. Make sure you're following, subscribed, hitting the like button over on YouTube. We appreciate all the support every single week. The OBR is your best place for Cleveland Browns coverage and then to hang out with us every single week. So make sure you are tuned in to the OBR. Also, get over to our socials and check us out at The Garage Beers everywhere you are on social media. And you can follow along with everything we've got going on with Garage Beers as well. With you as always, I'm your host, Michael Keefe at Garage Beers Mike. And joining me as always, my two co-hosts. First, over on the east side of Cleveland, it's Chad Meyer at Garage Beers. Chad, what's up, Chad?
Hey, guys. How was your fourth?
Super duper.
Yeah?
Great.
Yeah? Nice. Yeah. We had a good one, too. I don't know. I was just having random thoughts about it today. I don't know. Like anytime I think of the fourth, I always think of I always just kind of think of back when, like what life was like back then. And I don't know. Can you just imagine? I don't know. Could you guys imagine having to travel everywhere on horseback? Right? I'm going to Akron. It's just a short 4-day ride away. And all you knew was Akron was that way. And you were just hoping to get there.
Just following the stars.
Isn't it crazy how life has evolved up till now?
Pretty quickly, right?
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's crazy.
I like that. I like deep thoughts with Chad Meyer.
Random deep thoughts with Jack Handy.
I think I saw somewhere where if you're to put the time of the existence of Earth on a clock, humans joined it on 11:59 p.m.
Oh yeah. It's wild.
So
it's crazy.
We've come a long way.
It's crazy.
I mean, it depends on who you ask.
We've come a way.
We've come a way. Yes, we have.
Maybe we forgot to ask directions a couple times, but we're still in the car.
Once or 10 times. That's awesome. All right, so Chad's in deep thoughts over the fourth and that situation. Also joining us, you heard his voice there down in Nashville, Tennessee. It's Joey Whalen at Garage Beers. Joe, what's up, Joe?
What up, dog? Dude. I'm good. I'm so sad. I know we're gonna get to Garage Beers here in a second, but I am out of beer, and I didn't want to. The only beer I have is a Corona, and I was just I didn't want to do another Corona, and I'm just kind of a little sad about that. But I have a good alternate, I think. Now,
You've made an alternate. You've made an exception, and that's okay.
Exception, yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, it's good to have the boys. Joe, it's good to have you back this week.
Hey, it's good to be back.
But it's good to have you back. And like I said, we are going to have a whole lot of fun here tonight because, again, there's some stuff that we're going to get to. Chad sent some ideas for some fun stuff we're going to do at the end of the show. And there's some stuff for us to catch up on in the world of sports. But we got a great interview, and I think we're going to kick it off with that we're so happy. We've been working on this I know. I'm sorry that you guys can't see me.
Are you thrown off by the no video thing right now?
It's really weird. And I didn't even do I'm out of it right now because I've spent the last 40 minutes scrambling, trying to figure out why the hell my computer just lost the camera. I got a laptop and there's a camera right on the front and it just doesn't exist. Just doesn't exist.
Great news is
you can't see me.
Yeah. Nope.
I see your John face Cena out here.
Sure see your face.
John Cena out here. No, it's been a wild 40 minutes. Shout out, look at Brad Ward. He says hit like and subscribe on YouTube, but also Brad Ward has also been in the background with us trying to scramble and figure this thing out. But ultimately my computer is being a real son of a bitch. And so thank you, Brad, for trying to help. But we got to figure it out. And I'm just going to go video free. And it's probably going to be our most popular podcast we've ever done. All right. So we're going to get to all of our stuff. We're going to get to asshole of the week and cheers of the week and all that stuff. But before we get going, we have got to start with our garage beers of the week. Joe alluded to it there a little bit earlier. So, Joe, why don't you kick things off where we go around and talk about what we're drinking tonight? It's garage beers of the week.
I visited this with my father and brother-in-law in Kentucky on our way back from the Mammoth Cave National Park. And it's this little distillery outside of Bowling Green, Kentucky called Lincoln Pinch. Lincoln Pinch?
You watch your mouth.
I think it's Lincolm Pinch. Huh.
What'd you call me?
Oh, anyways, it's a newer distillery, so they only have 4 years right now. But this is like very tasty, and it's like pretty heavy, pretty high proof. I think it's 100 proof, so not terrible, but it's so tasty. And I'm very excited because this was like hiding on the back of our cabinet. And I saw it today when I was panicking about beer, and it made me very happy because I haven't had this in like 8 months.
Ooh, all right. So a little whatever the hell it's called, and you got a little bourbon. A little whatever the hell it's called bourbon.
Yeah, that's tasty.
That'd be awesome. Like just to start a small batch bourbon and be like a little whatever the hell it's called bourbon.
Yeah, right. Exactly what it is. I like what we're doing here. All right, so Joe was sad about his selection, but now he's happy that he's drinking whatever the hell it's called. Bourbon.
Ideas.
What about you, Chad? What are you drinking tonight?
This is another one that was kind of burning a hole in my fridge. It's been there for a while. I got this when we went to Pittsburgh over spring break and spent the weekend there. It's from Voodoo Brewing, right there in downtown Pittsburgh, next to Jason Aldean's Steakhouse. And this is Mike. You would enjoy this one as well. This is the Big Black Voodoo Daddy Imperial Stout.
Ooh,
look at that thing, huh?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. This is the name says it all. BBVD is our big bad seasonal stout.
Made with so dirty.
Made with copious amounts of chocolate and roasted malts and topped off with the right amount of. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting carried away. It's 12%. So it's 12%. And Mike, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Boom. Look at that thing. And let's go, boys. We're off to the races.
It's a real delight. All right, that sounds great. All right, I saw some in the comments here that I want to get to. Obviously, Drew in Brick City started with a handful of Busch lattes, and then he swung it over to the Warped Wing Fly Light from down in Dayton. So shout out to Drew. Okay. Welcome back. We always love having Drew here.
That's like a Tuesday routine for Drew in Brick City now. Like
this is it. It's Busch Lights and a Warped Wing beer, and it's perfect.
That's it.
Ages like a fine wine. We've also got Kenny Miller just talking about bringing cases of Treehouse beer. You can't go wrong with that. You cannot go wrong. And Zeke Dog loves the fact that you were down in Kentucky sampling some of their finest wares, Joe.
It's a short drive away.
Yeah, a little whatever the hell it is bourbon.
Whatever the hell it is.
Zeke Dog's like, you went to whatever the hell it is bourbon distillery? I've been there many times.
Oh my God.
Maybe it's
I love that place.
Lincoln Pinch. It's hard to say the pinch part at the end.
Nincompoop.
Yeah.
That's it. All right. Gonna bring it back to me, and I decided to switch it up. And I was kind of hoping you were gonna say you did the Corona, because my beer is Corona-esque. I went with I'm back to Great Lakes. I'm on a Great Lakes kick right now because I like their summer beers. I did the Great Lakes Mexican lager with lime.
Yeah.
Hey, can you show it in the camera? I can't see it, Mike.
Why don't you fuck off? Why don't you fuck off?
Yeah, what's the can art look like?
I can't see it.
Why don't you fuck right off? Listen, I avoided this beer. You know me, I like to get like different beers, and I'm an IPA and stout guy. And I kept seeing Mexican lager, and I don't know, a bunch of places make Mexican lagers they just kind of don't taste great. And so I've just kind of avoided this one over and over and over and over again. And then finally I decided I'm going to go for it. I'm going to grab it. We're going to see what this is all about. Boys, it's delicious. It's a great beer. It is a great Mexican lager. Just that little hint of lime. It is awesome. This is a great summer beer, overly crushable. So I went with the Great Lakes Mexican Lager tonight. Just a couple more from the comments. Zeke Dog's back. He has a Guinness Stout. Nothing wrong with that.
Nice.
I'm always good with a Guinness. And our buddy Bandito found Mama's Lake Erie Monster in the back of the fridge. So it's a good night at the Bandito household as he's going big with the Lake Erie Monster over there. So shout out to Bandito.
Is Mom going to be upset about that? Or what are we talking about here?
Well, she's not going to be thrilled.
That's yeah. Okay.
No. It's the garage. I mean, it stays in the garage.
No, we won't tell anyone, Bandito.
Back to the Mexican lager. Are you guys beer salters?
I can be, depending on what it is.
Yeah. Have you done it before, Chad?
No, I have not. I can't say I have.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's very popular. Like, especially like if you do like a Modelo or Tecate or something, and you put a little lime juice on the top of the can and then salt on it.
Yeah.
It's like good.
Yeah. I could see it.
Yeah.
That's how they served them. When I lived in Texas, we went down to a little border town, and in the border town, we found a little bar. No, border of Mexico, and we found a little bar in the border town, and that's how they served up. You would go in and get like a can of Dos Equis or a can of Modelo, and they would just dump salt on the top of the can and put a lime on it, and that's how you drank it. And it was
pretty good.
It's awesome.
Pretty damn tasty.
It's a good little treat. I feel like that's like the dessert to Mexican lagers is like a little.
There's nothing more refreshing in the summertime than just a cool Mexican beer with like a lime in it, dude. Like a Mexican lager. Like it's just I don't know. It's summertime. That's just screams summertime.
Speaking of summertime, we might talk a little bit more about that later in the show. But those are our garage beers of the week. Continue if you're hanging out with us, whether you are on YouTube or Twitch or X or Instagram or whatever. Get in the comments. Let us know what you're drinking with us here on this beautiful Tuesday night as we get in to episode number 220 of the Garage Beers podcast. And we've got a great one here tonight again, we're going to get into some other sports later, but we're going to kick things off with a great interview that Chad and I were able to do just earlier today and give him a little grace because he was on the road. He was traveling from vacation, but this dude's schedule has been crazy lately. So there's going to be, pardon our tech, it's not our finest technology night. There's going to be a couple moments where the internet gets a little wonky on him, but for the most part, the interview went really well, and we had an absolute blast. I'm going to send it over right now to our interview that we did with Browns color analyst, the host of Cleveland Browns Daily, and now stepping into the ring as a professional wrestler for the first time this Saturday. It's Nathan Zegura. We'll catch you on the other end of the interview. Enjoy, everybody. All right, we are here with our good friend. You know him from the airwaves, calling Browns games with Jimmy Donovan as the analyst on the Browns radio network. You know him as the host of Cleveland Browns Daily, giving you some of the best Cleveland Browns content. And, man, if you've been paying attention lately, you know him as a guy that can take a hell of a bump in a wrestling ring. It's Nathan Zegura. Welcome back to the Garage Beers podcast, Nathan.
Dude, it's great to be back with you guys. Appreciate you having me on. I apologize that I'm going to be in the car while we're doing this, but I thought it was an important week to get together, and I appreciate you guys making some time for me.
Hey, it's the week of Absolution 17. How could we not?
That's right.
How could we not want to talk?
That's right. We're not going to do the podcast, so let's do it.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to.
Now, I want to ask you one thing before we get into all this Browns talk, Nathan, because it's burning a hole in me now because I got so much crap for it at work. Okay. You were the guy. The first time I heard your name was because of your work in fantasy football, and I gave a lot of these guys crap today because they just had their draft 2 weeks ago.
What?
Yeah, they drafted and a lot of people have their drafts nowadays like weeks before even training camp starts. Am I crazy to think like you guys are Looney Tunes?
No, you're 100% right. That's insane. You need to know who's injured. You need to know what's going on. Like, that's outrageous. You have right now, you can do a draft on the internet in at most 90 minutes. At most, you should be able to do it in an hour. You mean to tell me you can't find an hour between the time that the last preseason game ends and the regular season begins? This is insanity. Why are you guys putting? Is there anything on the line here other than pride?
Apparently, it's a huge money league that they do at work.
Outrageous.
It's like $200 buy-in. I'm like, what is wrong with you guys?
You could be buying damaged goods. I mean, your first round pick tears ACL the first day of training camp. Like it's so stupid.
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
There's still guys you don't even know what team they're going to be on. There's still guys you don't even know what team they're going to wind up on.
Yes, it's outrageous. I'm against.
Okay, good. I feel validated now.
Like to draft kind of before we actually did the draft during the Thursday night game of like the kickoff the season. And we all got together at a bar, and the rule was if you drafted somebody, you had to start them that night, no matter what. So if you want to draft somebody in the game, you had to start them. And so then it worked out much better than it would have worked out if we were in a situation where you had drafted them in June. That's crazy.
Yeah. You guys are Looney Tunes, man. You're crazy.
Yeah.
Go slap him around, Chad. Go slap him around. So Nathan, I'm excited to have you on. Again, we're going to get to the wrestling thing. We might even put your promo jobs to the list here at the end of this. But it's a long off season for the Browns, and obviously we've talked about free agency, and obviously we've talked about the draft, and we've talked about mini camp. But there's not been a ton of news, which is kind of refreshing, to be honest.
No.
When it comes to the Browns lately. So I just want to go over with you just to kind of get us back. We haven't talked a lot of Browns. To get us back into Browns mode, let's talk about, I want to hear what are some of your favorite offseason storylines, favorite things that have happened this offseason for the Browns that could kind of get us back into Browns mode as we get towards training camp?
Yeah, I would say, the first thing is that it's a sign that you're a pretty good football team when you have guys who are wanting to get paid. That's kind of the biggest, I would call it, negative story or, distraction story with Amari and his contract. But that's because you got a good team and everybody wants to get paid, and you're going to have to make some difficult decisions. I love the fact that all those veterans on the defensive line all wanted to come back. Zadarius wanted to come back. Mo Hurst, Shelby Harris. They all wanted to come back to the Cleveland Browns and be a part of what we were doing here. And it's because they like being together. They like the culture. And you got people like, you even think of at the end of last year when Duron Harmon comes in, who had, multiple time Super Bowl champion with the Patriots. And he's like, this is the best locker room I've ever been in. So they've done a great job of building what I would say is a special culture and a special environment there that the players love. And I think for the first time in, a long time, and I've been here obviously in some dark times. This will be my 12th season, either on the sidelines or in the booth.
Real dark.
People did not want to be Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
And now people want to be a Cleveland Brown. They want to be on this team. They want to be in this organization. They want to be a part of what we're doing. Rodney McLeod wanted to come back. That's another one on the defensive side of the ball. All these guys just wanted another shot after what they felt like they were starting to build that Super Bowl momentum with the win against the Baltimore Ravens, and they had their quarterback, and Deshaun had that brilliant second half, and then they never got to see it. And I think there's a sense of some unfinished business. And so I think that's been a great storyline, and just how much they enjoy each other, how much they enjoy the work they're doing together. And then the big one is the offense. And so that's part of it is, the addition of Jerry Jeudy. Part of it is, and I think a very sneaky kind of under the radar, but I think will pay big dividends at least early in the season before Nick Chubb comes back, if he's not able to be back at the start, Deontay Foreman. But the biggest one's going to be Ken Dorsey, right? You bring in Ken Dorsey, and then you're going to have an offense that I think is just so much more conducive to Deshaun Watson's skill set. Kevin Stefanski's offense, the marriage of the run, the pass, the back to the defense, hard play action, the keeper games. Deshaun could do that, but you saw when Joe Flacco was in there how many big plays that style of offense can generate. But Deshaun's made big plays his whole career, being in shotgun, being in 11 personnel, spreading it out, giving the receivers more options in their routes, having more pre-snap motion to kind of get tells from the defense, but also create horizontal speed and movement. So I think if you talk to the guys, the most exciting thing is everybody's expecting this defense to be great, and they should be, right? They've only added talent to that side of the ball. They brought back every principal player, with the exception of, Anthony Walker Jr. and Sonny Takitaki, but Jordan Hicks is one of the better middle linebackers in the game. And they're able to, I think be so solid in the second year with Jim Schwartz there. But it's this offense. Can this offense be clicking? And the guys love it. And Deshaun is very comfortable with it. His shoulder is good to go. You got Jeudy, who's a great route runner. You got Amari, who's a great route runner. You got Elijah Moore, who's a great route runner. Cedric Tillman had a really good, I would say, off season so far. He's taken a huge leap from where he was after year one. And so you might even see some 10 personnel because they like their 4 receivers. So I think that's the biggest story. At the end of the day, that really is going to be what determines the ceiling and the floor for the Browns is how does Deshaun Watson function this offense? How productive can this offense be? How can it protect the football and allow this defense to do its job on some short fields? But I think that part of it and the joy of it and the excitement amongst the guys about it on offense is very exciting. Then the D is they're full of swagger and they want to be even better than they were a year ago.
And it's got to be a motivated defense too, right? After that, it's got to be. They got to have a bad taste in their mouth after that playoff game last year. So they got to be a little hyped up.
Yeah, for sure. And they've heard, about the stuff in the red zone, and they've heard about the home road splits, and that Houston game. While it really was not the defense's fault, it wasn't a dominant performance. Let's not forget Houston had back-to-back pick sixes. I mean,
for sure.
That affects the football game. No, that doesn't help. But no, it wasn't their best performance. And I do think, and I think that's one of the reasons why you're not seeing nationally the Browns being crowned as anything, right? Because the defense, all kind of the things that were the little warts came to ahead in that game. Flacco's interceptions down to your, 5th and 6th tackles. That was a problem. The defense wasn't able to really get it done on the road. That was a problem. So I like that. The offseason is the offseason. This team's going to be all about what happens, from the Dallas game on, and not so much what's happening now. You're not looking for saviors. You have a loaded roster, and so it's going to be about going out and executing. But I'm really excited to get back. I'm excited to get to the Greenbrier and kind of see this team and the bonding that they're going to have there and roll into the preseason. But this isn't, again, you're not there. What are the battles, right? Who's going to be the starting Sam linebacker? Who's going to be the third tight end? I mean, this is, and we're going to play base with a Sam linebacker, I don't know, under 10 plays a game. This team is formed. So you just want to stay healthy and get through it. But that's what it is. It's an offseason that's been very quiet because in large part, it is very quiet. That really is what it is.
Yeah.
Nathan, you brought something up that and you being in the building and being able to talk to the guys and the coaches and as much access as you're able to get, I want you to maybe help people understand something because it's a little bit of a pet peeve of mine because it's something people go crazy about every year. And that is who's calling plays. Who's calling plays where, and they bring in Ken Dorsey, and then there's this giant conversation about is Ken Dorsey going to call plays or is Kevin Stefanski going to call plays and how's the play calling going to go? And in my head, I'm thinking, man, this feels like a pretty cohesive unit of guys on the coaching staff, men and women. It feels like a pretty cohesive leadership group. You're not going to get me to believe that one guy's just going to call plays and it's not going to be a team effort. Like, can you?
Oh no, it's going to be a collaborative process for sure. Hold on one second here. Let me figure out I got to pay in a toll.
You're paying tolls.
$4. All right, one second.
You know who this is? This is about to be AIW superstar Nathan Zegura.
Yeah, I don't think they're aware of that right now.
You should have put your neck brace on. Maybe they wouldn't have made you pay.
Cool. Thank you. You too, brother. All right. No, so the play calling one, and that is the huge story. People do make a big deal of it because in some ways it is a big deal. And I think that there's a camp of Browns fans that I find very surprising who think that Kevin Stefanski needs to give up play calling so he can focus on other things. I mean, the guy's a 2-time coach of the year because not only can he call plays at an elite level, he can handle all of the other things too. And he's done a great job with it. So I'm very surprised about that. I will tell you though, I would not be surprised at all if Kevin Stefanski calls plays. That's, as we said, that's what he's been so good at. I also would not be surprised at all if Ken Dorsey calls plays. And I think that would be totally fine. Ken Dorsey's offenses when Buffalo were elite and he got fired, and Josh Allen would be the first to tell you because he turned the football over too much, and that wasn't on Ken Dorsey, that was on Josh Allen. So it's going to be a big story. I don't think it is as big of a story. The game plan will be made so cohesively, but there is something to the rhythm of it, and we can see when Kevin Stefanski gets in a groove and he's setting things up and dialing them in and, kind of hitting that schedule of I'm going to show you A, I'm going to show you B, and then I'm going to show you A again, but this time it's going to be different. I love watching that. When he's cooking, it is so good and so hard to stop. But I think Ken Dorsey's offenses have been similar. And to me, it's a story because it will be interesting to see the direction they go. But I don't think it's a story that's necessarily going to impact how things go on the field for the Cleveland Browns. I think it's more of a story in kind of title and word than it is going to be in terms of consequence.
So I wanted to ask you, all the reports and rumors have been swirling since last year that it seems like Andrew Berry has been trying to acquire Jerry Jeudy forever.
True.
So, and he was finally able to do it. He was finally able to do it. What was it about Jerry that Andrew liked so much? Because it seems like he really zeroed in on him.
Yeah, they love him. They loved him coming out of Alabama, obviously, and you know how productive he was in college there. You know, and has his career lived up necessarily to what you thought? No, but if you kind of take a better look in the numbers, average is almost 9 yards a target for his career. So if this is a guy who's going to get, 100 and we'll call it 30 targets, and true number ones now get way more than that. That puts him well over the 1,000-yard threshold, and he would be very productive. And I think not only what Andrew Berry does is identifying talent, saying I'm going after them, and he pursued and got Jerry Jeudy, didn't have to give up very much, and then immediately signed him to a contract that if Jerry Jeudy is just a good number 2 receiver, is going to look like a very good deal over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
And they believe he has the upside to do even more than that. It's kind of like paying him and then expecting them not only to live up to that contract, but maybe even outplay it, as we saw with David Njoku. So I like what they're doing. I think I like that trade. And here's the other thing. When you have guys like Amari, and I'm going into advanced stats now, but Amari, Jerry Jeudy, and Elijah Moore are all elite against man coverage in terms of creating separation. And so Chiefs a walking mismatch. If you all of a sudden have guys that can win one-on-ones all over the field, the ball's just going to kind of go where the ball's going to go. And it's going to force teams, I think, to be more vanilla at times and play zones. And then that's going to give tells to the quarterback, and you're going to know exactly where to be going with the football. So I think it was Jerry Jeudy does a lot of the things that Amari Cooper does. And it maybe has a little bit more vertical speed at this stage in his career, although we know Amari's coming off a career high in terms of yards per catch and yards last year, and is great, and I love him. But this is, I think that, you look at it partially as for this year, what a 1-2 punch. And then you look at it and say, at some point we have to be realistic about succession planning. And you got another first-round talent and a guy who went to Alabama because he idolized Amari Cooper and now is going to be in the same room with him. And I think you're going to get the very best version of Jerry Jeudy. And hopefully that is what Andrew Berry and company thinks it is going to be.
Nathan, as we get here closer to camp and we really can start thinking about football in a very real sense, all I want to do at this point is just start amping myself up, right? I want to start getting pumped for Browns football, and they had a great year last year, and it didn't end the way anybody wanted it to, and all that. And the thing that just pulls me in and gets me most excited, a lot of people are going to talk about the quarterback because it's so important, and it's so important that Deshaun does what he needs to do this year. But, man, when I think of what this team did last year, missing so many pieces.
Right, you got to stay healthy.
Missing part. I mean, you were on the ultimate depths of your offensive line. You don't have one of the best running backs in the game. You're without your quarterback. There was just your safeties were both out for big chunks of the year, and you're relying on these guys that are just in incredible depth parts of this roster, guys that you are hoping you don't ever see, really. When I think about getting excited for this Browns team, I think of what could this team do if they could they're overdue for a year where they stay healthy. They are overdue for that year. Man, a healthy Browns team is a scary thought.
I mean, it's a top 5 roster in the league. And it is a very scary thought. And you're going to have guys battling to make this roster the Browns are now going to be one of those teams when they cut guys that are going to get snatched up all around the league because you've got more than 53 guys that deserve to be on a 53-man roster here. But you're right. You got great depth. And if this team stays healthy and Deshaun is what we think he can be, even if he's not what he was in 2018, 19, and 20, but he's, let's call him a top half quarterback in the league or even a top 12 quarterback in the league, this team can win the Super Bowl, period. End of story. That's how good the roster is. Everybody knows it. I mean, our 11 personnel grouping now is going to be very difficult to contend with. And a lot of people give Elijah Moore, a hard time from last year. Career highs, all of that, that's right. But that offense was much more geared for if the play was run for Amari, the ball is probably going to get to Amari. If the play was run for Chief, it was probably going to get to Chief. And the game I always point out is against the Jets, which had been the best pass defense in the NFL for over 2 years. he goes in, Amari goes down, he plays the Amari role and puts up, I think, 5 for 60 something and a touchdown on Sauce and Reed in the first half because as the number one receiver. So you've got now all of these weapons on offense. We know what we've got on defense that, yeah, you should be excited. This is a team that should deal with the pressure of expectations. And now, are you in the hardest division in football? Of course. Why would it be any other way? Are you in one of maybe the most stacked conferences that it's ever had, top to bottom? Yeah. But if you're good, you can navigate those things. And we certainly have seen great teams like the Kansas City Chiefs do that year in and year out.
Hey, just real quick, and then we're going to switch it over to the next topic. But real quick, on a personal level, you get to work week in and week out with a legend in Jimmy Donovan, and you had to overcome missing a grade A guy in the booth there a little bit last year as Jimmy was going through his battle again and beating it again as we knew he would. Man, you gave us some moments, some of those videos of you guys, man. But you also shared the booth with. You had a little bit of a rotation in the booth up there. We had Siciliano up there a bit, and you had some different guys calling the game. As much as I would say you just want Jimmy Donovan in the booth full time as much as he can be, it had to have been a little bit of fun just getting to know some of those guys and calling some games with some of those guys.
Yeah, it was. And obviously, I mean, all the moments talk about with Jim and the emotion, it's so real because he's such a great guy. Obviously, he's unreal at his job. I think we got the best play-by-play guy in all of the National Football League, but maybe in all of professional sports, quite frankly. But he's an even better person. And so to see him struggle with that, it was emotional. And then see the return and the guitar smash against Pittsburgh and to call a game-winning field. It was like, that was so special. The night I'll never forget, Thursday night against the Jets, him calling us going back to the playoffs. So it was, Jim's the best. And then last year, for me, as somebody kind of, still working on their craft, it was very interesting to work with so many different people and so many different styles. And I think there was one point during the season where it was like 7 or 8 games in a row where I didn't have the same person 2 weeks in a row just because of the way that the schedule worked out. But, it started with Chris Rose, who's a great friend of mine, and we loved working together, and I'm sure we'll do some things together in the future again. And, he's always wanted to get the opportunity to do that, obviously not in that manner. And he will also never forget that his first call ever, the first play that he ever called was a pick six in Pittsburgh on Monday night to kick that game off, which was not the way you wanted to start, but
he's never invited back.
No, he's invited back. He's a professional broadcaster. And then Siciliano is awesome and very similar in his style to working with Jim, which I mean is as an incredibly high compliment. I loved working with him. He did a great job. And then we had other people who kind of popped in, just for one-offs. You had Paul Keels, the voice of God, the voice of the Buckeyes, which was what a cool thing to say that I worked with Jim Donovan and Paul Keels in the same season. Tom McCarthy, who did our preseason games a few years ago and is a total just Big B professional broadcaster, and then Jeff Phelps again, who I got a chance to work with a couple games in the 2022 season, and then again in 2023. So 6 different guys over the course of the season. But obviously there's one GOAT, and that's Jim Donovan, and I'm excited that he's retired from Channel 3, but he is not retired from the Cleveland Browns, and so we're looking forward to doing a full season together and hopefully calling a lot more wins.
Before we move on to the next topic, I just want to say something to the segment of Browns fans who don't think Kevin should be calling plays at all. Nathan and Mike just reminded you of something, that the Browns won 11 games last year with 4 or 5 different quarterbacks. Yeah, but you're right. Kevin shouldn't be calling plays. You're right. Kevin shouldn't be calling plays.
He's unbelievable, and not only did that happen, and his ability to still, not only do that, but keep this team focused. I mean, it would have been so easy for them to get blown out by the Steelers after thinking we've got it all going. And then on Wednesday, Deshaun's not only out for this game, he's out for the year, turned back to DTR, pulled that was the right lever. DTR leads you on a game-winning drive. I mean, no, Kevin Stefanski is an elite coach. So he's a 2-time coach of the year. I mean, he is elite, and he's not only he is a master in terms of the schematics. He's, I think, a phenomenal play caller, but he knows how to reach these guys, and he knows how to keep them focused. So we're very, very lucky to have Ken Stefanski. Ultimately, if he calls plays or not, if it's him or Ken Dorsey, I don't think that's going to matter. I think this team is putting in a system that is very very conducive to success for our primary guys. And of course, number one would be Deshaun Watson. But before we get to whatever the next topic may be, I do have to say one other thing I should have mentioned at the beginning that I'm excited for is the new kickoffs.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
tell you what, from watching it in minicamp, there are going to be so many kicks returned for touchdowns this year. It will definitely set a record league-wide.
Okay.
It's going to be a play that the teams that are good at it, it's going to be a massive advantage this year. It really is going to be a massive advantage if you can cover it. And then I think a guy like Pierre Strong, for example, and obviously Naheem Hines has proven he can take him to the house. Those guys could be. I mean, Pierre looks great in this. We know his acceleration, but it's kind of one cut. And if you can get through, you're gone. There's really nobody to be there. I saw a crazy stat that in the XFL with this kickoff rule, kickers were involved on the tackle in like 20% of the returns. So it's gonna be wild, man. Listen, D-Hop's in great shape. The Scottish Hammer is probably perfect for this with his rugby background when he's still with the New York Giants. Yes. But it's going to be a very fun play, and I think Bubba Ventrone is, not just for me. I love the guy, but he's regarded as one of the greatest special teams coaches in the NFL for good reason. And I think the Browns will be a team that will get an advantage out of that play, and I think that will be. It's going to win some games at some point this year.
Okay, they're going to have JOK out there kicking. They're going to have JOK out there kicking the ball.
Oh, man.
Hang on a second. We talked fantasy. We talked fantasy earlier. Hold on. Draft Pierre Strong.
Yeah. There we go. I love Pierre. I don't know if I love him, disproportionately to what his playing time will be. But I think he is a talented kid, man. He is fast. His acceleration is wild. I'm big on. Obviously, I hope Nick Chubb is ready to go week one, but if he's not, I think Deontay Foreman in that kind of Kareem role is going to be a monster for the Browns, and fans are going to be very excited with his ability not only to get you those tough yards and get in the end zone, but to also he can break it off and go. I love the way he runs too. He's kind of looks like to me Steven Jackson. Remember the great Steven Jackson of the Rams and then the Falcons? Kind of an upright runner, but just a big, strong guy, and He's been fun to watch. I've enjoyed it. And Deuce Staley is fun to watch coaching that running back room as well.
I love it. You got me. All right. So now I'm getting pumped up. That's what I needed.
There you go.
As we're in the doldrums of the offseason. Okay. Nathan, now we got to talk about the last thing before we let you continue your drive. But this weekend, Saturday, at the
Masonic Temple Live.
It's the Masonic Temple. Yeah. In downtown. It's AIW Absolution 17, and Nathan Zegura, you did something pretty legendary. You did something a lot of big name professional wrestlers have done over the course of decades. You took a guitar to the face from Jeff Jarrett, JEFF.
I most certainly did.
To the face.
Yeah,
tell us about
that's right.
That. Tell us about that.
Well, I will tell you about that, and I'll tell you it's. So I never even met Jeff Jarrett before. Okay. I had no beef with Jeff Jarrett. Obviously, I knew Jeff Jarrett. I'm a wrestling historian. I know he's a two-time Hall of Famer, 12-time world champion. He famously had a great run as a tag team champion with Owen Hart in the WWF. Yeah. He had was an intercontinental champion multiple times over. I have a ton of respect for him. An absolute, total legend. But I didn't have a problem with him, and all of a sudden. The next thing I know, and I'm talking to members Jabroni, which are these guys who have been, flapping their gums at me on social media for years. And we had a little bit of a mix in, at the Gauntlet for the Gold, which is AIW's version of the Royal Rumble. I got in, I threw one of them out, Calvin G. Lewis, and instead of going to the back, he's hung out on the outside, ended up grabbing my foot, and they double teamed to eliminate me, him and Malcolm Cambridge. And so, I was at AIW Shook Ones and just to call them out. And the truth is, as I said, and I'm sure everybody who's kind of familiar with this, I'm not a wrestler. I just turned 46. I've been a commentator for the Browns and a commentator for AIW. And when they gave me an opportunity to get into the Gauntlet, of course, right? It's a boyhood dream, like Shawn Michaels. And so I did it. I never had any idea it was going to go where it went, and certainly no idea that it's going to be where it is now. After Jeff Jarrett came in. Hit me with a chair in the gut, gave me the stroke, his finishing move, and then members Jabroni picked me up, and then the next thing I know, it happened in the blink of an eye. I'm picked up, and I'm like, oh my God, he's going to hit me with this guitar. And then he just walloped me in the head. I went down, And at that point, I felt, compelled as a man to say, I'm not a wrestler, but basically you've just assaulted me. You've run down me and my family and my city and the team that I work for, the Cleveland Browns. I'm a man. You want to fight? Okay, let's fight. At least this time I know it's happening. At least this time I know it's coming. And so I can prepare for it. So, it's going to be 4-on-4, myself, Joshua Bishop, who's a 3-time AIW Absolute and Intense champion. He's a stud. He reminds me of, he's like, Jeff Jarrett called him as an insult, a combination of Psycho Sid and Mike Awesome. And I'll take that because those guys won a lot of matches and dealt out a lot of punishment in their careers. And then I got Filthy Tom Lawler, who is a legit MMA UFC fighter. If you guys don't know who that is, look up Filthy Tom Lawler knockout from the Ultimate Fighter show. And the guy's like, nobody can knock me out with one punch. Well, Tom Lawler did knock him out with one punch. And then and he's a former AIW champion as well. And I've got Hardway Holloway, who's kind of the young, up and coming, the big man stud. And so I've got those 3 guys and Jeff Jarrett. He's got Members Jabroni, and then their 4th man. Now this is, I have no beef with this guy, and I've made that very clear in every promo that I've cut and getting ready for this match and all the training. And that's Satnam Singh, who's 7'4", 425 pounds.
Stay home, pal. Stay home.
No, this does not, Satnam Singh, this does not concern you. I am not interested in fighting you at all. So that's the wild card. Obviously, he's bringing a legitimate giant with him, Jeff Jarrett, which, I guess on some level means he respects our team's ability and maybe my ability in there. I can certainly take a lick and get back up. And so, it's become, I never thought this would happen. In my wildest dreams. But I got gear made. I'm ready to go. I've been in training. I've been in the ring, trying to get in the ring at least, 2-3 times a week, go working it out, strategizing with my teammates. And I feel, I'm feeling prepared. I'm going to get back in there again on Thursday for one kind of last, get ready session in the ring. And then this Saturday, Absolution 17, it's the fight of my life. I've never been in anything like this. So it's going to be the fight of my life to defend the honor of the Browns, defend the honor of Cleveland, defend the honor of my teammates who decided, we'll go get in there with you, and my family. Because Jeff Jarrett came on Browns Daily and he said, my kids must be so disappointed in me that my wife probably wishes she never married me. I'm like, it's over the line. That's personal. So I can't wait to get in there with him. And I've got a few things. I've been working on a few things. I've studied him just like I study in preparation for Browns games. I've watched a lot of tape. I've taken notes, and so I know some of the moves he likes to go to, and I've tried to work on maybe getting some counters to those signature moves, and hopefully I'll be able to execute it because that's what it's all about. The preparation will be there, believe me. I hope that I can execute and we can win because they're running. Jared's talking a lot of smack. Members Jabroni, they flap their gums on Twitter all the time. I don't know why. They're 0-for-5 in title matches. They don't win in the big spotlight, and they're not going to win at Absolution either because that's what they do. They choke, and I'm a winner, and the guys with me are winners, and we're going to find a way because we've got to. Listen. Everybody in the dog pound who's, anybody who watches this here, come on down that night. We've already sold out all the ringside stuff. We've got a great gate already, but I want us to have that place packed because there's something about Cleveland and the dog pound, and that's what makes it so difficult for people to come in here. Think about it. We won 8 games last year at home, the most the Browns team has ever won in a regular season. Why? Because not only is the team talented, but because the fans, and it gets the other team off their game, and it gives you that energy, that juice, and that's what I need. So it's wild, man. I'll tell you what, it's wild. I think my wife is very ready for this to be over. I think she's very nervous. I don't think she liked when I was thrown into a guardrail at the gauntlet. I don't think she liked when I took a guitar to the head from Jeff Jarrett, which was, again, very rude. Felt like assault, to be honest. And now, I'm training. I'm ready. I know what's coming. I know what I'm getting into, even though, let's be honest, I don't know what I'm actually getting into. But I'm fired up, man. I can't wait. It's a dream come true in many ways, and I hope that I still feel that way when it's all said and done. But yeah, I'm going to give everything I've got at AIW Absolution 17 because I don't want to just do this. I want to win. And now I feel like I need to win. I have to win because of all the things that have been said to me, about this city, about my partners, about the Browns, about my family. I've got to win. And that's what I'm going to do. Or you're going to get everything I got. I'll tell you that. There's not going to be anything left in the tank.
Now, Nate, someone wants to show you a move that you could possibly use in the ring. I don't know if you could see it. Oh, he's not going to do it. He's not going to. He was trying to do an attitude adjustment. But
okay.
I wanted to ask you one thing. You're training, first ever match, whatever, and
yep.
A lot of people, I don't think a lot of people know the type of training that goes in for a wrestling match. So you being a wrestling historian, your first match ever after being a wrestling fan for so long, what kind of things have you learned while training for this that like people wouldn't know?
Yeah, I've been very lucky to know guys like The Miz. To know guys like Johnny Gargano, who's now the tag team champion, to know Matt Cardona, who, was Zack Ryder in the WWF and now has become an even bigger star on the indies and is also a former AIW champion. So I got to talk to those guys. I got, my team, Filthy Tom and Josh Bishop and Hardway working with me. But the two things that stand out the most is that the ring hurts a ton. Like, it is not a trampoline. It is not soft. It's like if you just take in your living room and you maybe have some carpet on there, which I'll give you a little inch of a foam pad because that's really all you get, and throw yourself as hard as you can onto your back. And that's what it feels like. It doesn't feel good. So anytime you see any move, it is not a pleasant experience. If you are bumping on your back, bumping on your face, it is. The ropes hurt running the ropes. I got bruises on my side because I hit the ropes like the Hulkster, like an old school guy. And I have like a rope bruise on my glute and on my lat. I have so much respect for what everybody who does this, what they put themselves through to entertain people, and just how good they are at what they do. I have a ton of respect for this business, and that's one of the reasons why I'm taking it seriously. Like I had whiplash after that. I was in a neck brace. I did go to a wellness retreat. I flew out of town to go and focus on my healing. I had to go back to, with the Browns doctors, seriously, to get cleared to get back in the ring at the Drzezinski Sports Institute. So I'm taking this seriously because I have so much respect for everybody who's ever done it. But I've gotten a lot of good tips from the guys that have done it at the highest level. We're talking about a guy in The Miz who's won basically every belt there is to win at WrestleMania. A guy, Matt Cardona, who once won the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. So George Mizanin, The Miz's father, who was involved in a great fracas at WrestleMania, and he'll be there at the show on my side for sure. The ring is unforgiving. It's unforgiving, and it's intense. And the one thing I'll say about it is that, as a part of me wanted to know, like, could I do this? And I think we're going to find out. Like, am I actually capable of doing it? Am I actually capable of taking the punishment? Am I capable of giving out some punishment and fitting through? I didn't know before I could stand there and eat a guitar like nobody's business. And I certainly did. Yeah. I got a little respect from the boys in the back. So it's an honor to be a part of it. And I am taking my preparation for this as seriously as I've taken my preparation for anything. If anybody knows anything about me, that's what I'm about. Preparing so that I can be the best color commentator for the Cleveland Browns fans. Even when I was doing AIW commentary, I'd prepare with notes so I could be the best commentator for AIW. And now as a wrestler, and I'm representing, as I said, my team, my city, my tag team partners, my family, I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that I'm the best I can be. But, Jeff Jarrett knows every trick in the book. This is not going to be easy. There's a giant still that I'm saying ignore me, who probably is like, I don't want to ignore you. And I don't know what that's going to be like. I'll get.
You
look
look like a fun
quickly.
person to break.
Hey, Paul White, I know you're watching. Come on down and get in Nathan's corner.
Listen, I'll take all the giants I can get right now. But yeah, it's just been awesome, and the reception from not only the wrestlers but from the fans as well has been so cool. And yeah, it's not a lot going on Browns wise. I really am thankful for that the Browns have allowed me to do this. Obviously, this is not happening without their blessing. And I can't wait for Saturday. I think people are going to like the gear, and I think I'm going to be able to do some things that people are going to be like, okay, he definitely put the time in to try to do this justice and to find a way to win. And that's what I'm going to try to do.
Listen, Saturday night, July 13th, 7:30 p.m. the Masonic Temple Live in Cleveland.
4 days, baby.
Tickets. I got my ticket. I'm bringing my kids.
I love
it.
it.
First ever wrestling show. It's his first ever wrestling show. He's coming.
He is going to love it. The venue's awesome.
Yeah.
ECW once ran there back in the day. It's an awesome venue. Not a bad seat in the house. And you can come up, people. You can show up day of, and it's $15 general admission. $15.
Yep.
And you're going to get 4 hours at least of incredible entertainment. The card is loaded. There are great matches. I'm a ladder match guy. There's a ladder match for the Intense title with Eric Taylor, who is future Too Bright Eric Taylor, who's the guy that when I was on commentary, I go, that guy is going to be a star. And now he is making me look very smart. So I appreciate that. He's going against Maserati, Wes Barkley, and Alec Price. That match is going to be insane. And then if you like just a couple of big dudes getting after each other for the AIW Absolute Champion, you got the champion Chuck Stone taking on Isaiah Broner, who is nicknamed The Problem because he is a bad man. I wish he didn't have that match. He would be on Team Zegura for sure, because The Problem, you don't have to be like, oh, I wonder what it's like to be in there. You can feel what it would be like to be in there with Isaiah Broner, and I'll tell you, it is not, I don't think it would feel pleasant. But yeah, so it's a loaded card. There's going to be some great matches. Danhausen and Derek Dillinger with Magnum CK as a special guest referee. You got Dominic Guarini with Shaw Mason at the culmination of their feud. Tag team titles, Money Shot against PME, two of the most decorated tag teams in the history of AIW. So it's loaded. It's going to be a heck of a show. It is for $15. There is no better entertainment value in the world, period. And I'll be there making my debut in the Muni Lot Brawl. I'm going to have some ZWO shirts for people in attendance if they want to come and scoop one of those. And I'm going to have some silly 8x10s. It's going to be great. I'm like Broski. He's like, make sure you got to bring a fanny pack for the cash. So I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to go.
I'm there to watch Nathan Zegura scoop and slam a 7'4", 500-pound dude. That's what I'm there to see.
Listen, it's about managing expectations. Do not come there to see that. You will come to see, hopefully, some other really cool things, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that is not going to happen.
All right, Nathan, I wanted to end with one thing. I'm going to give you a little challenge, 30 to 60 seconds.
Okay.
I want to hear one of those. Can you give me, because this is what, if you're going to be in the wrestling, you got to be able to do it. One of those 30 to 60 kind of vignettes, one of those 30, 60 second promos about Jeff Jarrett and what he's put you through, like a Macho Man cream rises to the top style promo. Let's see what you got, Nathan. Close us out.
All right, I got you. Well, I'm going to do it. I could do it in the Macho Man voice, but since I'm actually going to get in there with him, I'll do it as me. And I'll just say this, 4 days, Jeff Jarrett, 4 days. And right now, Jeff Jarrett, you're traveling around the world. I know you're going up to Canada, the finals of the Owen Hart Cup tomorrow night, and you're distracted, and I'm not distracted. All I'm doing, I just was at another wellness retreat. I was chopping wood. I was going out there. I was climbing trees. I was swimming with the sharks, because I have to know that I can go through anything physically and mentally, and I'm at that place. I am ready to go. Josh Bishop is ready to go. Tom Lawler is ready to go. Hardway Holloway is ready to go, and we're a cohesive unit. We've been in constant communication, sending videos back and forth, watching the film, doing the scouting, putting in the work. And what are you guys doing? I know you haven't talked to members Jabroni. Why would you? Satnam Singh, who knows what he's doing? I know he hasn't talked to members Jabroni. So that's not a team. That's a collection of individuals. And when you have the sum is greater than just adding up the parts, when all of it, the whole parts, that's magic. And I'm talking about me and Bishop and Lawler and Holloway. I'm talking about the entire dog. I'm talking about the entire state of Cleveland. I'm talking about my family. I'm talking about my friends who have flown in from California, and they've flown in from Georgia, and they've flown in from Florida and New York, and they didn't come to see me lose. So Jeff Jarrett, you may want to win. I have to win, and I will win at Absolution 17. Brother.
Let's go.
Listen, we love you, buddy. Have fun this weekend. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you on Saturday. I can't wait, man.
All right. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for the support. It means a lot to me. You're coming on Saturday, and I can't wait, baby. 4 days. TikTok, members Jabroni. The clock's ticking.
Let's go.
They made Though he tweeted out today that Zegura is trying to convince AIW fans that he's one of them. He's never been to the Muni lot. Wrong. I've been to the Muni lot many times, not only back in before I worked for the Browns as a patron. I've also hosted many official events in the Muni lot, including a draft party the year we drafted Denzel Ward.
Let's go.
And
let's go.
They said he's never sat in the dog pound. I work for the team. I'm on the sidelines or in the booth. What do you want me to do? Outrageous. So we'll write those wrongs, but it means a lot to me.
This man is the Browns, and you're not coming into Cleveland and beating the Browns.
Yeah, members jackasses. Why don't you stay in your corner?
Members jabronis. That's right. I can't. Oh my goodness, they're running around. I can't wait. I want Jeff Jarrett. I got to get my hands on Jeff Jarrett, but members jabroni. That's just going to be like. That's like, you go to a great meal. You start off with, a delicious shrimp cocktail, maybe even a lobster martini. Who's to say? And then, you're like, oh, God, this is a treat. That's members jabroni. They're that and maybe a little banana cream pie at the end of the night. But the ribeye, the main event, what I'm focused, that's Jeff Jarrett. So I'm going to have some nice accoutrements, but it's all about me and Double J getting in there and me saying, listen, you took it too far. And so you're getting my best.
Hey, Nathan, real quick. Step 1, whoop that ass at Absolution. Step 2, SummerSlam.
Oh, baby. I mean, stop it. We can only dream. We're focused. Like I said, that's to go here. This is all about Absolution. 100% locked in. That's it. What comes after that is going to be about the Cleveland Browns and the Greenbrier, but I am locked in on Absolution.
Let's go, man. Nathan, we love you, man. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, fellas.
Go Browns.
Go Browns.
Let's go.
Oh, big time thanks again to Nathan Zegura, Cleveland Browns color analyst, Dog Pound Daily host, and a dude that's about to get a professional wrestling victory because I don't know if you heard that promo, but he was locked and loaded and ready to go. And if I was Jeff Jarrett, if I was you, Jeff Jarrett, I'd be pooping in my old man pants a little bit. I'd be pooping in the old man pants a little bit because Nathan Zegura's coming for you.
Yeah, the last outlaw is going to take the last dump in his pants before he loses in Cleveland.
Let's go. Oh, man.
What would you think if you were driving down whatever highway that was and you just saw Nathan Zegura losing his shit in the car, talking to assumably a phone call, but like, how funny would that be driving by him while he's doing that?
Damn right. He's just talking to slap nuts. Jeff Jarrett. Old slap nuts.
I'm not going to tailgate that guy. That guy's fired up.
Fired the hell up. Again, if you want to see Nathan in person, and it sounds like a lot of other fun. I missed when he talked about the ladder match, but I'm super pumped about that now. I bought my tickets online. You can pick your seats, or you could just walk up and buy them. Again, it's just on the east side of Cleveland over there at the Masonic Temple Live, which I think is it Euclid? I think it's on Euclid. Yeah. And, man, it's going to be a hell of a night. I'm taking Patrick. I'm taking my son. I'm going with my buddy Kurt. The three of us are going down. Chad, if you can get away, man, you got to get down there, man. We are going to have.
I'm trying. We got a lot of plans on Saturday, but I'm trying to rework them.
It sounds like it's going to be an absolute blast. See Nathan Zegura go up against the legendary, man, Jeff Jarrett, man, takes me back to being a kid and those old vignettes he used to do for the WWF at the time where he would play some terrible country music songs and like he would just be like walking around a park talking shit in a weird outfit. Man, it's still going. Like, I don't know. Jeff's got to have been at it for like 40 years now.
The glasses that like blink.
Oh,
like the double J glasses that like blink. Just a terrible, like just the cheesy outfits that was the early 90s wrestling.
Well, let us know if you're going down. I'll be down there for sure, and it's going to be a great night. Again, huge shout out to Nathan Zegura. It's easy to get lost in what he did there at the end of that interview with a great little promo to kick things off, but a lot of fun Browns talk there too, especially, again, in a time where we struggle. I mean, we haven't talked about the Browns in a long time because it's just a struggle to find anything worthwhile to talk about, anything of value that isn't like the deepest shit you can dive into. And so it was fun talking with him about the Browns too.
And you know what's fun about that too? That's a good problem to have because that means you have a good football team.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's a good problem to have.
That's right. Okay. I think that's going to bring us to our asshole of the week. I think we only have a couple things left. We're going to do our asshole of the week. We're going to play a little game, and then we're going to get out of here with our cheers of the week. So asshole of the week is our time to just call somebody out for being an asshole. Somebody that's just kind of been a shithead, a group of people that have been shitheads. Just whoever's been an asshole recently, we're going to call them out, and we're going to make it public that they've been an asshole. So who wants to go first? Joe, you want to go first?
Yep. Mine's not a person or an entity. It's the act of sneezing multiple times in a row. Nothing is more like emasculating, whatever the word is, than like when you're sitting there. I had one today. I had this horrible sneezing fit, 12 in 2 minutes, and it was like I just felt so stupid. I couldn't get out of it, and I hate it. It's just like it grinds my gears, you know. Sneezes, total assholes. It's not fun. Everyone's got like a weird sound they make when they do it. Like nobody like sounds great sneezing. You know,
I'm sure there's somebody.
Yeah, so like, oh, I'm sure like a Frenchman or something. Like,
Let you. All right, that's a weird asshole of the week. That's a super weird asshole of the week. Sneezing, total asshole. Chad, who's your asshole of the week?
Well, this week, guys, there's one clear choice and only one clear choice, and that's my son for not completing that move that he promised he would do in the Nathan interview.
What an asshole!
What an asshole! Jeez. I mean, he was begging me the entire interview. Like he heard, I told him that he was wrestling a real famous wrestler, and he goes, Dad, can I come on and do an attitude adjustment to Show Bones? Because that's the name he gave the skeleton. And he goes to Show Bones, and I go, yeah, dude, come on, that'd be awesome. That'd be great. I'm like, that'd be great video for the podcast. And he just like, I turned the camera on him, and he just shits his pants on it and just drops the skeleton. He doesn't even do the move. What an asshole.
What an asshole. That's right, Fletch.
That's the first time one of your kids had been on that list.
I know.
It's shocking.
I love him to death, but this week he's an asshole.
Yeah. A worthy
damn near 4.5 years into this, and that's the first time one of your kids has made it, Chad. That's solid. That's solid. Listen, I was all set. I was all set to go into this with my asshole being, I think it's just a yearly asshole for me, but neighborhood fireworks shooters just drive me fucking crazy. Just drive me. We went to the Crushers game for the 4th of July, and we came home from the Crushers game, and we couldn't even drive down the street because these lunatics are out in the middle of the road, and they're not shooting off like one firework. They got like a show going in the middle of the road. Like, I want to go home, you assholes. Get out of the way. Stop. Fireworks are fine for me. I kind of like going to fireworks shows. I've been to some cool ones. But, like, go to fireworks shows and see that. Don't shoot that thing off in your damn neighborhood. Like, where do we draw the line on this? I don't like it. So I came in locked and loaded with that. But then I realized that there's another asshole that we haven't talked about much, and I just want to get this out there. I think for the first time ever, and I'm a gigantic fan of this asshole of the week. I'm a gigantic fan of this person. But for the first time ever, I'm going to put him on this list. I think LeBron James has been an asshole lately. I think Bron's been an asshole lately.
Oh, thank God. Yep.
He's been an asshole lately. We've had so much other stuff going on the show that we really kind of skimmed over the Bronny James situation.
Lord.
And even now, Team USA is together, is getting ready for the Olympics. Listen, I'm a huge LeBron James supporter. I'm a huge LeBron James fan. I think he's done a lot of great things, and he's the greatest basketball player that in my lifetime, put him with Michael Jordan, and they're easily number 1 and 2, and I don't care what number you put him in. And there's not been a lot of times where I'd call him an asshole. I just think as of late, he's kind of acting like an asshole, right? So you got the Bronny situation where, listen, Bronny's not getting drafted in if his name isn't Bronny James, if his name is Brad Smith, he's not getting drafted.
Right.
And it's not because he doesn't have potential. He certainly does have tremendous potential. But between an incredible health scare going into last season, where he didn't really have time to prepare for the season at all anyways, and then the season he had in college, which, again, maybe even through no fault of his own, it just wasn't anything special. There was nothing special to the season in college. All of a sudden, now we're out here talking about him as an NBA draft pick. And it's to the point where LeBron and Rich Paul are going around telling teams that if they draft Bronny James, he's going to go to Australia. They told every team that if they draft Bronny James, he's going to go play in Australia, except for the Lakers.
Right.
And I just think it's kind of an asshole move. I think it's cool. I don't care about the nepotism side of it, really, because I'm not going to sit here and be mad about LeBron doing nepotistic things, but not be mad at the Lakers for having their whole family run the franchise, or Jerry Jones for having his whole family as part of running the franchise. Or Bill Belichick for having his sons and stuff. I'm not going to do the nepotism thing. I just think it's weird. And I don't know. Chad, you always made a good point with this. I don't know if that's setting up Bronny for success, to be honest. I don't know if it's setting him up for success.
Yeah, and like I know we talked about it a little bit. We were texting back and forth a little bit about it, and I've kind of changed my stance a little bit. It has nothing to do with Bronny and everything to do with LeBron. It just seems like such a selfish, petty move by LeBron, right? I don't know.
It feels that way.
Yeah,
it feels like it's all about him and it's not about Bronny.
Yeah, and there's just no evidence to the contrary that supports any of this. I mean, Bronny is so if Bronny totally earned this, like LeBron shouldn't have to say anything. And like right. and he comes out today saying, well, Bronny has earned this, yada yada yada. He's worked so hard. People don't understand how. No, like if you would just let, and there was all this narrative, or there was all this talk about, LeBron saying that, no, Bronny wants to become his own man. Bronny wants to do this. But like, if all the reports are true and saying that, telling teams he's going to Australia, or, getting the fully guaranteed contract in a second round pick, it just feels so manufactured to me. And I think the thing that bugs me most about this is it just feels so dishonest. And I get why. And I get why they're not going to say that in public, but the dishonesty about this whole situation, it just bugs me. Like, it's not going to ruin my day. Like, I'm not going around thinking oh my God, LeBron pisses me off so much. But no, the dishonesty of this whole situation is just kind of like, dude, look, clearly you got your kid on your team because you want to be the first father-son duo to play in the NBA. Like, just say that. Like, why can't you just say that? Just say that it is what it is. Like, that's what you wanted. That's why you manufactured this whole Bronny getting drafted to the Lakers thing. Like, just say that, because it's so obvious, right? Like, if Bronny naturally went through the college and went through the draft process, like, that would be one thing. But everything leading up to this moment has just feels so set up.
Listen, Bronny is a pretty good prospect. He really is. There's a lot about him that is to like for an NBA career. It's not. And so I'm not saying that I don't think Bronny can make an NBA career out of this. I certainly think he can. And I think 3 or 4 years from now, he can be a pretty solid contributor, like a bench player. But again, if this was, I just don't know. And we'll see how they play him. Like, I certainly hope his guaranteed contract doesn't mean he's going to be just sitting on the pine for the Lakers. Because, all right, if they throw him into the G League and go let him just develop, opening night, he's going to be on the Lakers because it's going to be all about LeBron. It's going to be all about LeBron and his moment with his son opening night on the Lakers, and that's what it's all going to be about. But, then I hope they just throw him down to the G League so he can play. And, he has a chance to get better. It feels like LeBron has overshadowed his son in the whole situation. And it does. It feels icky. And then, like I said, I kind of want to start seeing LeBron, being willing to kind of pass the torch in certain ways.
Yeah.
And I'm watching all the videos from all the guys getting over to Paris or I don't even know. I think they're in Vegas first and then Paris or whatever. But for getting ready for the Olympics, and they're all practicing and getting ready and whatever. And LeBron's just always the center of attention guy. He's like stepping in front of guys to be in front of the camera, and he can't let guys just have their own moment. And it's all the way down. I got to tell you, he is bugging me so much recently that the team picture bugged me. And again, LeBron's generation, he's better than generational. He is a top player that has ever played the game of basketball, and I will never take that away, and I will always be a fan of his. But like, I feel like he shouldn't be the guy sitting front and center in the picture. I feel like he should be in like the back now. Like, you're 40, dude. Get in the back.
Because I mean, let's be honest. He's on his way out. He doesn't have long to go.
Like Jason Tatum should have been the guy in the front holding the basketball, and like you're building the team around him. And Durant and LeBron and those guys should all be just kind of in the back. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like how he's been all me, and I know he's like that probably more than I even want to admit. But like it's been really apparent lately, and it's made him feel like an asshole to me. So I made him my asshole of the week.
There we go.
Okay. Browns Bandito said Novak Djokovic is an asshole. I saw that he made some headlines for getting in some kind of confrontation, but I didn't see what it was. But I just wanted to get that out there because Bandito's making comments, and we want to call that out. All right. We got a little game we're going to play. Then we're going to do our cheers of the week. We're going to do a 3-round draft. I went ahead with a random name generator, and it's going to be Joey, me, Chad, and then we're going to reverse it and then go back. We're going to draft 9 things, 3 apiece, and we're going to do a draft because we're in that first 10 days of July. We're right in the middle of the summer, basically. We're going to draft our favorite summertime activities. And again, if you live somewhere where it's summer all year round, you're probably going to think this is weird. But here in Cleveland, it's summer sometimes. And so what are we looking forward to? When the summer rolls around, what the hell are we looking forward to? Joey, you're going to get the first pick. Joey, what's your number one? What's the number 1A summer activity?
Take me out to the ball game, baby. Baseball games. Number 1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Easy.
Good one.
Yeah, I was sitting here trying to think if because that was the first thing that came to my head. If you were going to skip on that, I was going to take it. I was sitting here trying to think, is there anything that I'm not thinking about that should get taken over, just like heading out to the ballpark and going to games? And I couldn't think any. It's a solid 1-1.
That's a solid 1-1.
It's a solid
For the first time ever, I'm actually doing well in the draft to kick it off. So
Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
If Joe Paterno makes his way into this draft, I'm going to lose my mind.
That's going to be amazing. I can't wait for him to take him third.
Yeah. That comes to me, and I'm going to go with another sporting activity. I'm just going with golf. I'm just going with as much golf as I can get. I've been very fortunate this summer.
Or watching golf. I think you should clarify that.
Oh, playing golf. Going out and playing golf.
Yeah.
Getting my little speaker that like magnetizes to the golf cart, filling up the cooler with some beers and putting it in my bag, getting on the golf cart and just heading out and playing. I've been fortunate this summer that my son is really picking up golf and he loves it. And that's a really good excuse for me to look at my wife and be like, hey, we're going golfing. And because my son wants to go, she's like, okay, if he wants to go. So I can golf more because my son is picking up. That's a dad hack, by the way. Dad hack. If you have kids, get them into golf because it lets you go golf more. But number 2, and equally as crazy, my sister also has decided to take up golf. And she doesn't even live in Cleveland, but she's been here for like the last 3 weeks. And she's just going to keep coming back because she loves golfing. And she decided to take it up because, she got a new job. Okay. She got a new job where like the people she works with golf a lot, and she wants to be able to go do that with them. And so she just is staying here and working remotely and golfing. And she calls me all the time. And I'm like, well, yeah, I'll go help you golf. So I have golfed more this summer than I have in a long time. And it's been great. So golf is right up there on my list.
I love that.
Nice.
All right, Chad, you get 2 back-to-back. You get back-to-back summer picks.
Sure. Here we go. Yeah, I'm going to go cooking out, like parties, cookout parties.
Yeah, cookouts.
I mean, bring your family, bring your friends over, right? Bring this, put the steaks on the grill, maybe some corn on the cob, set up the cornhole boards. Kids will play in the backyard, right?
Hold on.
Right. Yeah.
Zook is just roasting Joe. Zook is just roasting Joey in the comments. Rocket League first pick. It's my favorite thing. Favorite thing about summer is Rocket League. Go.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't play that while the Zegura interview was going on.
Just getting roasted. Just roasted. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Bring the kids over. Just cook out parties all night. I mean, there's nothing better to me than like, I don't know, sitting on the back porch on a hot summer night with some friends over, having some beers. Like I said, playing some cornhole. Maybe, if you got a pool, maybe have a night swim.
Yeah.
Like night swims are awesome. Like there's nothing better in the summertime for me than that. And I think my second pick is going to be NFL training camp. When NFL training camp starts, because you are getting ready for football season in the summer, right? It's such a football is such a short season, and it's such a long layoff before football starts back up that everybody is so excited for NFL training camp to come around. And yeah, I mean, there's no greater evidence of that than by Browns fans just lining the streets waiting to get into NFL training camp. So, and among many other cities. So I'm going to go with NFL training camp for my second pick.
Oh, the first pick off the board that I'm like, I didn't have it on my list. I think, man,
to be fair, you guys took my other two picks.
Yeah, fair. I guess training camp's cool because of what it signifies, but I don't know, man. I've gone to training camp. No offense, sorry, Browns, but I've gone to training camp the last couple of years, and I couldn't wait to leave. I went and I couldn't wait to leave. So
it's cool to see, but
it's tough. It's tough. Okay, that brings it back to me, and for my second pick, it kind of goes along with Chad's first pick, but now Chad went with like cookouts, having people over, doing that. I'm going with patio season. I'm going patio season, baby. I'm going patio season. Wherever you're at, we were over at Rocky River Brewing Company the other day. Sat out on the patio. It was gorgeous. My favorite patio in all of Cleveland is the Harp, the Irish pub restaurant, with the best patio in all of Cleveland, with the incredible view. Just like sitting out, having some beers, having some food out on the patio. Patio season is the best, so I'm making that my second pick.
It's so sad because that's like the waterfront restaurant of Cleveland. Like I know they have the East Bank kind of thing, but like
stupid.
Two more. Come on. Such
stupid.
A beautiful coast. It's just a beautiful coastline, and there's nothing besides the Harp. Which the Harp is great.
All right, Joey, back to backs.
All right. Trying to think what order. I think I'll go with Brewing for number 2.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Brewing's the number 2. That's a fun pastime for us here. Summers in Nashville kind of suck because it's so hot. I mean, it's just like, I know it's summer, it's hot, but it's like South is hot and gross and humid. So nothing's better than getting some swim trunks on, going down a river, get a kayak, get some beers, get some tunes, and just chill for 3 hours.
Yeah, I wish there were more places in Cleveland to do that.
Yeah.
It was big in Texas too, and obviously we're talking about heat. Yeah. Like it was wild hot in the summers in Texas, and it was like on an every weekend basis. We would just we'd get a cooler that floats, load it up with beers, and go inner tube. We'd just be tubing.
Yeah.
Float in the river. Somebody would have a waterproof speaker. We'd be listening to music and just floating down the river, drinking beers.
And fun.
I wish that was more of a thing here. I wish it was more of a thing here.
Mohican's the closest spot. It's like an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's probably the best closest spot. That's similar to what we got.
All right.
Yeah.
Cabrew.
Carefree. Third, I want to go bonfire. Give me like the traditional backyard bonfire. Also very beer related.
Not on this podcast.
I know, but love a good bonfire. Sitting out by the fire, I can do that for hours.
Yeah, there's certain places. Chad, I wish you knew Joe's parents' house, because their backyards is just the woods, right? It's just like built into the woods.
Yeah,
and Joe's dad does a good job of like building up the yard and making it nice. And I'm telling you, there have been nights where you'll sit down by the fire pit at like 9 p.m. with a couple of beers, and the next thing you know, it is 2:30 in the freaking morning, and you've just had the greatest night of the whole summer. And that's big.
Nice.
That's a good take. That's a good take.
Well, when I get divorced, maybe I'll experience that.
Oh boy, don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm just kidding.
Guess we know who's going to be the asshole of the week that week. Oh no.
Reason for divorce? We needed more bonfires.
Yeah. My favorite summertime activity, divorce. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going with something that just kind of came to me for my last pick. Outdoor concerts.
Oh yeah.
I love outdoor concerts.
100%.
Right? And it's universal wherever you're at. Like in Cleveland here, you may not love driving in and parking and driving out of Blossom, but a concert at Blossom's a great time.
Yeah, for sure.
Depending on the crowd and depending on the concert, you can either sit on the lawn. Like my wife and I went and saw Jack Johnson there, and it was great. We took Patrick to Weezer last year, and it was great. I've been to some other concerts where you probably want to sit in the pavilion because the people on the lawn are going to be a little crazy. But just outdoor concerts. And then they pop up. And then you'll just be like randomly out of Crocker Park, and there'll be a concert going on. And you could just sit there and hang out and listen to it. Or there'll be like some random band that had a one-hit wonder situation at a bar that's playing on an outdoor stage, and you could just go chill and listen to it. Outdoor concerts, big time for me. So I'm going to make that my last pick.
Honorary asshole of the week. Concert tickets are just way too fucking expensive nowadays.
Any ticket. Oh, it's
like way too expensive. Like I was looking up Sammy Hagar tickets, and like I don't know, a lawn seat to Blossom now is like $75.
And it should be. It shouldn't be anything more than 55 for Sammy Hagar.
Yeah, well, it's like, but lawn seats are supposed to be like $20.
Yeah, I agree.
$25. Like
we've lost the art of that, Chad. And you're gonna send me on a tangent that I don't want to go on, but we've lost the art of it. It's the same complaint I have about the goddamn Guardians down there. Like when we were kids and stuff, you could get a seat for $6 or $8 and I know they're gonna like they didn't gradually get more expensive. Now it's like, you can get in the door for $40 if you want to.
Yeah.
Like things didn't gradually get more expensive. They just skyrocketed to expense land. And I agree with you, Chad. I think it's some bullshit that like a Blossom lawn ticket should never be more than like $25.
Right.
And it doesn't matter who the concert is.
Yeah, it's not like you're getting an incredible view from the lawn. You can you can just kind of see in there.
Right.
But anyway, outdoor concerts was actually going to be my third. So having to pivot, I'm going to go summer vacations.
Yes.
I thought about that too.
Are amazing wherever you go. Like wherever you go, it's going to be summer in that place, and it's most likely going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Unless you're like in the Dakotas. But it's going to be awesome. Pretty much everywhere you go. There's nothing better than having something to look forward to that you plan like in the fall and the winter. And summer vacations. Let's go. That's my third pick.
Look at James in the comments. Saw Pink Floyd at Blossom in 73 and it was $12, which was probably wildly expensive.
Yeah.
And then James came back and said, "Yeah, I'm old as dirt." Yeah, you are, James, but that's cool. We love that you're here.
Fine.
And it's cool to be old as dirt. It's better to be old as dirt than not live to be as old as dirt. So
how much was 24-ounce beers? Were they $20 like this? Like
hell no. No, Chad, back to summer vacations. Great pick, man. Yeah. And that has hit me more as I've gotten a little bit older. Because I probably would have told you like 20 years ago, like, why are you going somewhere warm in the summer and making a big listen, we've gone down to the Carolinas a few times. We've gone on those beach trips. They're great. I don't even like the beach. Yeah. Just going down and like eating seafood and hanging out at the pool and just having nothing, playing golf, having nothing to do. I love it.
Yeah. The older I get, man, the more I appreciate vacations, man. Cause it's memories, not only memories for you, but for your kids. It's just, they're going to grow up saying that.
All right. I had a couple honorable mentions that I'll throw out and then I'll let you guys go too. I had here in Cleveland, I had, the islands, Kelly's Island, Putin Bay, great summertime activities. I would be remiss. It would be insincere of me to go through this draft and not at least bring up an honorable mentions. My favorite place to take my kids, which is the zoo. I love the freaking zoo, and I love walking around there. And my kids always grab Dippin' Dots right when we get in, and I always grab a beer. And it's just our thing, and we go and they do so many cool things. Cleveland Zoo is so cool. They do those Asian lanterns, which are amazing. It's twilight at the zoo in August. And then again here in Cleveland, but Cedar Point. I mean, you got to throw out
that
Cedar
was
Point.
my other that was going to be my honorable mention too. Was amusement parks.
Mm-hmm.
Amusement parks, because we just went to Waldameer last weekend for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And what a perfect park for kids. What a perfect park for families.
Perfect.
Love
it. Joe, any honorable mentions from you, buddy?
Nope.
Rocket League, baby. Rocket
Let's
League.
go. Joe Paterno.
Joe Paterno.
I wonder what summer's like wherever he is right now.
It's hot. I can tell you it's hot. It's hot.
Yeah.
All right. Those were that was our summer activities draft. Again, let's recap it real quick. Joe, you had baseball games, which I love that as a number one pick. Brewing and bonfires. Solid draft out of Joe for once. I had going golfing, patio season at restaurants and breweries and such, and outdoor concerts. And then Chad, you had cookouts at the house. You had football training camps, and you had summer vacations. I feel like if we posted that, people are going to have a real hard time.
I think so.
Picking a winner. I feel like those are going to be pretty even.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do that. We should.
Candy corn guy comes into the comments and says, "I took my son to the zoo. It only had a dog. It was a Shih Tzu."
Hey-ho.
Son of a bitch.
Let's go.
That's
God
so good.
Damn it.
That's
damn
so
it,
good.
Corn guy.
That's so good by Candy Corn Guy right there.
Go.
I love that. All right. Okay. That's going to do it. 10:35. We got a late start, so now we're right at basically an hour and a half of the show. And so we are going to finish off with our favorite segment, our positive segment of the week. And that is going to be our cheers of the week, our 3 cheers of the week, where we're going to go around and just cheers things that deserve to be cheers. And so I went last on the last one, so I'll go first here. Hold on, wait. Zook Zuchenko threw me off, and I don't know. Oh. Zook has a question, and I want Joey. Joey, just answer it in like 2 sentences. But Zook wants to know what your thoughts on Nashville's pickups, baby.
Oh, God.
The Predators.
They got a couple lines now. I'm stoked on them. I think, I think the negative to the Stamkos and Marchessault deals are like, they're older. So whether they see the full length of those contracts, I think that remains to be seen. But I think the team shows that they are competitive. They are performing well under Andrew Burnett. And I think adding a couple of key scorers to the team, it's really beneficial. You got a lot of people, a lot of good veteran talent on that team now. So that's huge. And like literally to get Stamkos, Marchessault, Shea all in the same day, like that was wild.
It was a big day. It was a big day.
Stammer,
big day.
Marchessault, Forsberg, and Yossi on a power play line.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Yeah. It's not going to be bad.
You didn't even say Ryan O'Reilly in that too. So
Ryan O'Reilly. Well, Ryan O'Reilly's on the second power play line probably.
Ooh. All right, so let's go into our 3 cheers of the week, and I'll lead us off. My cheer, I thought about this a little bit. My cheer is Cleveland sports, all of the Cleveland sports teams, and here's why. I know that Cleveland sports teams get shit on a lot, and really, Chad and I did an awesome interview with Ben Broussard that we're going to play next week for you guys. Former Cleveland Indians first baseman Ben Broussard, but it was our interview with Ben that got me thinking about this. Think about the shit that people say about Cleveland sports teams for a minute. Yeah. And then think about the Cavs this century. I mean, legitimately since the turn of the century, and a lot of it was because of LeBron, but now it's post LeBron, the Cavaliers have been a stunningly good organization. They are a very frequent playoff organization. They are constantly out there trying to win. The Cavs have been a pretty rock solid NBA organization for 25 years now.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking about the Guardians/Indians. And I went, well, first of all, look at this run that they're on now. It's been way more good baseball than bad baseball for over 10 years. Yeah. I mean, really since like 2013. And then before 2013, it wasn't great, but it was that conversation with Broussard when I remembered, oh shit, the Indians won like 93 games in 2005. And I remember them being trash. Yeah. They weren't trash. The Indians were good at the start. They had that great year in 2007. They've had some down years, but way more better years than bad years, like significantly more better years than bad years. Now, obviously we can't say that about the Browns. The Browns have been shit bags, but like when it comes to being a current 2024 sports fan in the city of Cleveland, look at us.
Right.
The Cavs were one of the last 8 teams standing in the NBA, and it didn't end the way we wanted it to, but it is what it is. The Cleveland Guardians have the best record in the American League, and it's July 9th. And so the baseball team's on fire, and we are anticipating another hell of a successful Browns season. Like, it's a good time. I hope we get some titles out of this. It's a damn good time to be a Cleveland sports fan. And you throw in like the Monsters, if you like hockey, you throw in the Monsters that made a deep run
our
to
teams
the
are good.
semis.
Yeah.
Here in Cleveland, it's a hell of a time to be a sports fan. So I'm just giving a shout out to the Cleveland sports teams.
Yeah, our teams are good, boys. Our teams are good.
Teams are good. Joey, who's your cheer of the week?
First, to piggyback off that, shout out to Stephen Kwan and David Fry for getting their first All-Star game selections.
And Naylor, right?
Let's go.
I
think it was Naylor's.
Yeah,
it's Naylor's first.
Right. All right. So let's go, boys. And the Guardians for having the most players on the team.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if has ever happened in my lifetime. But 2, this isn't like a feel-good story, but I've been watching this show called Blown Away on Netflix, which is like a glass-blowing like reality show.
Shit, you're so stupid.
I want to cheers glass blowers.
Nice.
Dude, that is
a glass-blowing reality
for
show.
Oh my god. It's like
my God.
Yeah, it's like Top Chef, but for glass blowers.
Wow.
Unreal show.
Tell me
I
more.
can't believe I haven't been watching it.
Tell me more.
They're insane. And like they'll spend like 2 hours on like a bowl and it'll just like
glass
off and shatter. It's like, oh, like it's just like so sad.
God. Walk a mile in a glass blower's shoes. Watch
That
Blown
would be
Away.
wild. I want to try that someday though. I think that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Sick as hell. Sick as hell. Yeah, that was great. That was great. All right, Chad, who's your cheer of the week?
Yeah, I'm gonna be selfish for the first time in the years that we've been doing the show, boys. I'm gonna give the cheers to myself. Go me.
Let's fucking go. Let's go.
Me. Go me for being efficient with my time. You know, as much as I love having guests live here on the live stream, you know, when we pre-record, I get a lot of shit done. Like tonight during the Zegura interview, I went down, I cut my hair, I cut my beard, I got in the shower. Now all I got to do is clean up the podcast equipment, brush my teeth, and get into bed. Okay?
Yeah, boy. Yeah. All right. Efficiency.
Go me for using my time wisely.
Efficiency. Listen, I always like to have him on live because typically that's when they'll have a beer with us and hang out.
Same here. Yeah, same here.
But, it doesn't always work out. Not everybody can do it at Tuesday at 9 p.m. And so we have to pre-record things. And, I agree. And it seems to get people at their best, too. So you got to love that.
Right.
That's a good one. That's a good cheers, boys. All right, real quick. When is the MLB draft?
Sunday.
Friday?
Sunday.
Yeah, July 14th through 16th.
Which round one or round like 50?
I don't know.
July 14th through 16th. So we're gonna
first pick is all I care about.
We're gonna end with this because Candy Corn Guy brought it up. It seems like the guards are gonna be down to 2 guys, right? Like that's what it sounds like. Travis Bazzana out of Oregon State. And Charlie Condon out of Georgia. Of the little bit that we probably know about these guys.
I mean, JJ Weatherholt's in the mix too.
Yeah, maybe.
The West Virginia guy?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, seeing as how we haven't found our shortstop of the future just yet, I think JJ Weatherholt's in the mix.
He might be, but I like. Charlie Condon was just.
I really like the Charlie Condon guy.
Dominant.
I really
but Travis Bazzana was too.
Yeah, I mean, Travis Bazzana was. I think he's a less like ready product. Like I think there's probably a couple years of development for him.
Yeah.
I think Charlie Condon, you could see him next year.
Yeah.
Like the dude is smacking balls in college.
I know. It's awesome. We got
Charlie
that coming
Condon, up. Smacking balls.
All right. Just ball smacking.
Ba-ding, 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 ba-ding.
But if you draft Travis Bazzana, you get an Australian baseball player.
Ooh.
When does that ever happen? When does that ever happen?
I feel like Travis guys like work out well for the Indians.
Yeah. All right. We had Hafner's. We had Fryman's. Okay.
Yeah.
I like what you've done here.
So,
all right.
It's a good name. Bazzana. That's fun. That's a fun one to say.
Let's go.
All right. All right.
Travis Bazzana. Travis Bazzana.
Nor. Oh, Nor.
Yeah.
All right, I'm getting out of here. We're not doing Australian accents. Let's get out of here. We did our cheers of the week. We did our assholes of the week. We had a lot of fun here tonight. We got to give our thank yous out before we get out of here. First, big thank you goes out to our special guest tonight, Nathan Zegura from the Cleveland Browns, and now from Absolute Intense Wrestling, AIW. Nathan Zegura. Again, we cannot stress it enough. If you got a little free time on Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. at the Masonic Temple Live over on the east side of Cleveland, go check it out. AIW Absolution 17. Nathan Zegura taking on the legend Jeff Jarrett, and you're not going to want to miss it. If you got $15 and you want to go have a fun night watching some pro wrestling, bring some friends, bring some family, whatever, and go check it out. You'll see Nathan in action in his in-ring debut. You don't want to miss that. Huge shout out to Nathan for coming on with us and talking Browns and wrestling and everything in between. We love that dude, and so glad to have him as a friend of the show. Our next shout out goes up to the OBR for hosting us here tonight. The OBR is your best place for Cleveland Browns coverage. Make sure you are tuned into everything the OBR is doing, whether it's Brad Ward hosting shows with Pete Smith on the React and with Casey Kinnaman on All Eyes on Cleveland, whether it's Barry McBride and Fred Greetham doing their show on Wednesday nights, OBR Weekly. We got more and more people joining the OBR. You're not going to want to miss those announcements. But the OBR, best place for Browns coverage. And then you get to hang with us and talk about everything else on Tuesday nights. Make sure you're tuned in to the OBR and subscribe to the OBR streaming network. And as always, our last thank you and our biggest thank you goes out to all of you. Whether you joined us live here tonight, we appreciate you. The comments were great. We had, almost 700 of you in here at a certain point. So the comments were live. The comments were great. You guys were a part of the show. We appreciate you joining live. If you couldn't join us live, shout out to you if you're joining us either on the podcast version or on demand on YouTube or Twitch. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you hit follow. And do us a favor and tell your friends, hey, go follow the Garage Beers podcast. They're good guys. You want to hang out with them every week and have them get subscribed as well. That's going to do it here for episode 220. We will see you next week. Again, special guest next week, Ben Broussard, former Cleveland Indian first baseman. But until then, cheers, everybody, and we'll see you next week.